Hello again. I promised some new videos on my educational channel, so here is another one. And these series of the educational channel are a helpful tool to realize what is going on, how it works, what I have written in my book Sound in Form, Methodical Synesthesia. It's a study in two parts. The large book of over 600 pages is published on Trafford Publications. The other two, the two volumes separately are available there as well. Very soon there will be a cheaper ebook version as well for those who would like to wouldn't like to spend too much money on books. You can still check it out. But most important is, of course, I think, is to have also some guidance. And these videos are meant to provide you this guidance. So take some difficult words to learn from the book, maybe. Some difficult words to form. Mostly the letters that are on the end of the complexity of this the cycle, let's say, of I mean, they are numbered in complexity, and the most complex words letters to understand are the ones later in this grouped series. And like the G and the R are already a little bit more difficult to grasp. So I will take some words that don't hang together, but they sound somewhat nearby. I mean, they sound somewhat similar. I will take a couple of words, so just random words. I'll take grain, great, GRAAF or GRAAF, GRIEF or GERIEF. It's a Dutch word which is almost the same as GRIEF, so I think, okay, it's a good example. And then something which changes the order of words a little bit. The I is coming before the R, and it changes the word completely, and also the meaning is bringing us to something completely different, while the words, some of the letters are the same. So it's a very good example to show, like with the same element you can get a completely different result. And I'll end with GIRAF. Just a little help where we will head to with the G. So we know, of course, there's the letter A is the most simple one. It starts from a center and everything will go and from there, and it's very easy to start there from. For instance, with B, D and Y, these are the first extensions that derive from there, so they are already taking us a little bit further. The O and the E or A are already a bit further away from this center, so there's already a space forming here, a new volume that has been formed here. And there you have the G. So the G is already reaching, it's already further away, so it's reaching already towards the other, towards something else, something unknown even. It's the outer region of space, the reachable space, let's say. So compared to the A, here's the region of the G. There you can find it. So the gr is a combination of G and R. The R is always simply trying to connect the whole activity. So if I try to connect these two, these areas that are involved, I could end up in this area, but it's not necessary. It also depends on the focus of the letters that will be involved in the word that I will express. So for instance, if I go to gray, so like with great, the there is in this this word, how it is written, it's A and E and A and A together, but it's just one letter. There is with the A there's a center involved, and with the A there is there is a whole range of spreading further, whatever, some expansion. I couldn't think of the word. So the expansion and the center are connected, so it is better to also have that in mind and use this as our focus to arrange the gr words on it. So this is our basic foundation where we will make some words, or we will find some words from here. So we have here, of course, the gray with the gray. Okay, this is the connection. You see where it is. So with grain, it's not really written as e, but it is written as a, but it is pronounced as ein. So the a is the G is always connecting the dots, let's say, from what is a bit further away, and the N is finding a new volume in between. So that will be somewhere in between, and the A focus will always connect to the objects themselves. You know already the objects and the areas of G and A, so the connection between these two regions should be somewhere in the middle over there. And with the letter E involved, there should be an insertion, so something inside. So this is the area of grain. A, as I said, okay, when we really use the word A and write it like this, not like A and I, but as A, we can involve the whole area of the A. The A is the whole object perspective, and the A is all the variations of expansions. So the A area in gray, in great, is this one. So great will be the T will be the connection point of our focus, and this is the area which is great. Yes. Now the same thing. Okay, we still have the gray sound, but here we will write it as an A. Write it as an A. So that means the A area, as you can see, one of the A areas, will be our focus for the A. The A, how we write it. So the area for gray, when written as an A, will be over there. So for the word grave, we will have here this area that is filled in with V. It interconnects two regions, so it's a region inside and it's a region somewhere else outside, and it connects them together. You even have the form of a grave if you would like. It is something that fits there quite well. And it is of course, this digging is there as well if you would like, but it is, you don't really know how far you can go with this digging deeper. So the grave in the second word meaning is also like you don't know how deep things go, how much you lose, how much you win. It is not very easy to see or sense immediately what it is. There's a word which is so GRAAF. The Dutch word of GRAAF was the same as grave, but there's also the Dutch word graaf or count in English, and of course with the larger area of A, we will have to focus on the large and larger areas of A here. So we start from the middle point, of course, and of course for what is connected. So the interconnections there are of course, again, the digging and receiving, losing. The R is always in two connections. Losing, it is again with the soil. There is soil, there is earth, which is received and also given away again. That is the function of the count, and that is what he can do. He has that function, he has that ability to do so. So it fits with the meaning of that word. GRIEF, with the word grief instead of GRAAF, we have a focus on E. The E is always something that is inserted, and the insertions are usually coming from outside and going inwards. The outside area we know with the G and the R, so there they are. And the F at the end is no longer the V, it's the F, it's softer. So it's really the losing of material, and winning of material is very loose, and it's very, you can see where how there is some material lost there and found there. It is about that, and there is the area. So that's the connection point of our focus there with grief. The Dutch word GERIEF, which is almost the same word, but it has an extra focus of the E, ge, of the and the is always a connecting point, so something that, in fact, yes, you can use. So here, the losing and winning of material is also the temporal idea of GERIEF. GERIEF means tools, not just tools, but tools that you use only occasionally. So they're temporal working tools, and they are here given a noticeable function. They are temporal. You can, one time you need them, or another time you can't. You take them with you, or you don't. You don't take them with you all the time. So it is a very loose connection, and it fits with that word GERIEF. The G, if it's connected with the E, I already told you, it keeps its focus on the outer edges most of the time. If it's not too much connected with the A, the starting center, it will make the form of the G also at the outer edges if we connect it immediately with the E. So that's what we will do. So with GIR, I will also double what is going on here with GIR, the whole area of what is whole structure of the outer layer of the outer layer has a structure like this with GIR. And with the F to it at this area, so the F is the in two ways losing and winning directions, and they all vary a little bit, so I have to make variations on it. They interconnect. I have the word GIRAF as how it is written, and I get to this word. It doesn't look very much like the giraffe, so it is a bit disappointing, but never mind. I will tell you what will happen if we are really correct. So this is correct for the written word GIRAF, where we can't make much of it. I try it just in case another time, so we know that the E connections will be directly to the G, so there is a connection there, and there will come the F connections of it, so in and out in two directions. But anyhow, what will be visible already with this written word giraffe are two main ideas that you can make of it. So there's this kind of structure that is noticeable, and there's this in and out movement that hangs onto this structure. They are recognizable, but either way they hang a bit together randomly. However, giraffe is not pronounced as giraffe or giraffe. It is more pronounced as j, with the j sound. The j sound always interconnects the outer points, and with the g in combination with the j connection, it will also make extra connections to the most outer parts as possible, so that the interconnections becomes more visible. And when I do that, I use the same interconnections with the F sounds. I will already start to notice the giraffe. And if you put the image of the giraffe next to it, I didn't do this deliberately. I only followed the rules exactly as it should be. Then it is clear that the word giraffe has a connection with the structural pattern that it senses, and also with the way the giraffe walks, and has a kind of a kind of pattern in these outer edges as well. So it fits with the word giraffe. I added the second part to this video because actually I wasn't really so convinced about the results I had with the words GRAAF and GIRAF, and it made me realize that I had a tendency of following the theory very much, and then again use it almost like okay, this is a proof that something works and that there is a reflection in reality. And I continued to act as if the senses, how you sense our language, and the senses, how you build up the language in a form, are two separate entities, and they are it's possible to combine them, and it proves that they are combinable, like the synesthesia, in that there are two different worlds that they can combine. The disadvantage, of course, is first of all, yeah, you could think at the end, okay, maybe it is just your vision, and it's a bit, there's some randomness in there as well. No, it's better that we come from our theory to a general theory that you can use, and we just compare it immediately a little bit more with the practice and the practical thing, so that also the theory will become a bit more practical, a bit more universal. And these two examples were a very good example how they were not entirely convincing, but I will do an update on this because of that. So I will follow the knowledge that I receive via the form, and I will compare it with the objects that we know, and then see where it will get us, and see if it makes us understand both worlds better, and improve both worlds as well in our expression of it. So I first had the image of GRAAF. So let's compare it with a real object. The real object that you can recognize immediately and that we can associate with it, it looks a bit like the tombstone, the large tombstone, because there on top is the gr, and the A makes it a form, the V gives it a direction, and the direction in that is concluded into this for a stone, let's say. And that makes the word association with GRAAF. Actually, this is not, of course, the total picture. Underneath is also the coming to this form. The coming to this form with the G, and it will, in the end, also continue into this form into a result, and this result will be the letter F. So it will spread itself almost like sand in the end. So the gr, av, and f, the f in all directions, that's what is underneath. So I explained it a little bit better before. I will not continue that explanation anymore what is really going on underneath these letters. But I come to this form. The strangest thing is this enough? Because if you really look at the grave, it is not enough, because if we really associate the form itself of the object is even larger, and that's because this is not enough to really make the definition of a grave. But the other one is, this one is, of course, there's a second part of a second stone, and of course most people recognize it as a grave with a cross, but that's something else. A grave is expressed with letters, pretty much like this, and the second part is almost like a stretched direction in another dimension, in another totally different direction. A little bit like, if you would express that with letters, is the V and E. The E letter I forgot, because the E letter is something you write down as well, so it counts. So the second form counts, and okay, in this way I can almost make it fit. That fits perfectly with how the word is written. The V of direction and the E with a certain larger extension. And underneath then, of course, the whole thing of something that goes from one space to another space, from one time to another time, and it spreads itself into the second space that is also expressed in the letters. But there's just one more letter that I forgot. It's the Y, because it's not grave, no, it's grave. So the Y is also important. You don't write it down, but you hear it, and this hearing of the letter is also important. What is the Y about? The Y is always expressed like a loose form that goes into a direction, tries to connect two different worlds, but in fact doesn't succeed, because it's into the free zone between the two worlds. So where could I express this? I could have a psychological association, but I will not talk about that, about this connection between two worlds, but it's in there. How do we make this connection to worlds? We can only express it somewhere where it doesn't interfere with the real qualities or what is really in the form. You can't deform anything. It has to be with respect to all the forms that there are, because you can't change anything with the Y. But the Y is a general sound that is in the middle of it, so it tries to make a connection. The connection, where can it be? Only in between the forms. So where I will add them there, somewhere where they don't have a very large impact. And this is what it is. It's the interaction or the interpretation between two worlds is like a scribble on the stones. It fits there. It fits there as a place. And grave with the Y, it reminds us very much of engravings. Yes, indeed. Because I started from the viewpoint in this video to not to look for universal meanings in the combinations of letters and vowels and within words to prove how much they fit to words, but I had another approach that I started to look for the objects themselves and see how much they match with this theory. I should of course not stay with one word, but I also have to include some other meanings of the same word. So the other existing words of grave, for instance, because there exist other ones as well. So we had already one, the grave from the graveyard, and we used the pattern for it. We also have the French word grave, which is grave. So it's written exactly the same, but it's pronounced differently. It has a focus on the A, very long A, grave, with all the letters included, even with the So if I focus because of the vowels, I focus on the spaces that are involved. I come to a certain balance, and I can recognize what it means already in the way how it looks, because I emphasize the certain regions. It's clear that we have an effect that we can sense more profoundly. So the effect which results in the in the end. So with the from outside towards the inside, there's a certain effect which is pronounced. That's for the French word grave. So I have really like the A is that long so that you come to the effect. The one A is more like it stays with the center. Two A's or A without much pronunciation, it gives it a volume. With three R's, or say it gives it already an effect. This is again the rule of three that I have there. So if I only pronounce it like grave, not grave, like in French, it's really like almost like three A's in a row. But grave, you come to a Dutch word. Now it happens to be a city, so it is not much. It's not much. With the significance, but doesn't matter. So if I pronounce it in the form in the same way, grave, so with the volume that is pronounced, you can have it from different directions. So it's also an effect upon a certain center point, and it comes from outside. I mean, the form a little bit like this. So let us look up the city, how it looks like, because mostly. I already have shown this in other videos. It mostly fits. So let's see if this grave fits also with the image that I have here. And in fact, it does. So the first, the first appearance of grave looked like this. So. Strangely enough, it fits actually pretty well with in the form as it is. And the city also, small city of town, it grew over the years, so it has more or less this form now with the river de Maas. It's in northern Brabant in Holland. Nowadays it's in Holland. And can I still recognize the form in it, what happens in grave? Yes, indeed. I have the gr, which is the as you can see there on top. You have the V there in the middle. That's these directions that narrow it down. You have the A, of also the unwritten longer A, which connects a larger area, but it doesn't really interfere if I show it or show it not. You can sense it that it's there. And the small as an extra result on top, you can also recognize it there as well. So it is like it's engraved in the landscape, and it fits to the word. The second word, which didn't convince me completely about the results, if I really learn what take what I learned from it and express it again, like the je is always the outer edges of something, even stretch beyond the normal space that you have. With the je even more stretch, so it's a stretch a little bit further. With a loose form without then changing anything which is already there. These are the red arrows, and the green thing is I expressed that in the latest expression of it's the going from ir to if. So the F is then going in two different directions, like the V a little bit, but then here like it's loose F's. different F's in different variations of directions. So this is a connection point between je, ir and if. But this of course a bit more in the letters. It's not GRIF, it is GIRAF. So the ir can also express the je, the g as expressed as g, which is the outer, a kind of surface. It's always a kind of surface. Could also be an upper layer structure. That could be the case as well. That changes it to E and R. It can have this kind of forms. And these forms will have to connect with how you hear it, with je. So it has to connect with these je, or these red arrows. So where I'll put them, I will tell you in a short time. But it is also gira with the a, and the a always says like, now how do I have to express it? I have to express it in the results of an object that you have to see. It is visible. You have to make it visible that it becomes an object. So gira, I have this here, and I will add it on the right place. And because there's an F involved as well, so it could also eventually also fade out. It's a structure that's spreading. It can be diversity in there. That kind of variations in all kinds of actions. So you lose it also a little bit. So that's more or less this fading out of the gira and giraf is there as a structure put onto the giraffe form. And if you compare it with the giraffe, it is pretty close, I would say. In a way, it is like I found the structural references of connections that work almost like a fractal into a form, and the form is formed because of the letters combinations, how they are pronounced, how you hear them, and so on. The whole picture. This is now really my personal fantasy. This is my personal synesthesia. No, I really followed some universal rules, some almost mathematical rules of letters and how they should be combined. And that's something you can learn. And you can learn intuitively, but you can also learn it rationally. Will the book of mine reveal the complete method? Yes, for a large part it will. The mathematical part is you cannot find 100% of the theory in it yet, but you can come to it. This is more a learn book. The learn book, the development of the word, that's the first part. This is the book where you can learn how to do this, the same thing as I'm doing now. How you really come to the fractal-like features is something the videos will more or less express it more often in the future as well. That's at least my intention, but I hope to make it possible that it will become a mathematical method, but not without some help. I need some few things for this. Time and space I need, so because I need some time for it, I need some room for it. How do I get that? Unfortunately, in this reality, in this society, you need, of course, a lot of money for it, so that you can buy time and buy a place, a space, and some cooperation to do this. So I hope someday I will find some people who are willing to make these formulas work in a mathematical way. Just like giraffe is not a fantasy, it is something really with interconnection points that work in a certain way, that use certain rules to do this, and an order to do this. And this order of combinations of features is not very easy to put into a theory or in a mathematical method, because it deals with a lot of things, with dimensions, with the way how they connect. I'm not going deeper into that, but that's why I also need help to make it possible. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed it. There was just a few examples this time. if you want to check the book out, just check trafford.com and look for Vanoise. Or just check the website Gerald Johan Vanoise, or just subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to have more examples. I try to have at least one example every week. I can't be sure if I have time, but I will try. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye bye.